Hey everyone, really excited to interview Chris Johnson from Passion Pod. If you don't know, he's got a really awesome podcast about people just following their passions no matter what. Definitely excited to get into it.
As always, guys, catch us Monday, Thursday, Friday, live on Twitch. Boom,
There
right
he
there.
is.
There
Chris,
he is.
welcome into the show. Say what's up to everybody, man.
Yo, how are all you guys doing?
Good, good.
Anything about G's?
First off, real quick though, any interest in that, or are you not a roller coaster guy?
Dude, I mean, I'll ride them, but I'm afraid of heights too. So
Yeah.
the 155, I don't know.
I'm in.
Think about,
I'm all in.
I rode my motorcycle at 100 miles an hour one time, and I was like, I'm out, dude. No.
I've heard a lot of people with motorcycles like to go to tracks and then kind of push their bikes to the limit. Is that something you've ever been curious of doing?
No, I
No.
ride like a Harley.
Oh,
Like, it was
okay.
just out on a highway. Yeah.
Gotcha. So not there for.
I've
the
always
test.
wanted to go on like a runway,
Yeah.
like just a straight shot.
Yeah.
I'm not big on like that high speed turning thing, but like that straight. Like I would love to see how high that needle could go and be like, oh god damn it.
I know the term is kind of offensive, but I was riding on the back of a motorcycle one time, and only once, and never again. Be honest with you, like I rode dirt bikes a lot, no issue with that. My buddy was like, yeah, man, I just got an R1. This thing's a badass machine, blah, blah, blah. You got to try it. And I was like, look, man, I don't know how to drive a motorcycle. I rode dirt bikes. I don't want to get on this, like, crotch rocket. And he was like, oh, just sit on the back. I was like, dope. Got on the back. Honestly, one of the most horrific experiences for me. Like, I'm just holding on, and every time we pulled off, I was, like, fingertips away from just falling off the back. Nothing about it enjoyable. Chris, am I wrong in that?
Dude, I've never ridden on the back.
See, that's what see, the term's offensive and he doesn't want to do it. All right, let's get into it, Chris. Chris does a podcast. Do you do it once a week, once a month? How often do you do it?
I record it in 10-episode seasons. When I'm done with them, then they come out week by week.
Okay, very, very cool.
So you just kind of record as you can fit it into your schedule in like a chunk, and then
Yeah, based on the guest, you know what I mean? Like yesterday I interviewed this illusionist and mentalist who's been on like Ellen DeGeneres and stuff. So around his schedule, I got to go when he's available. And then today, just before this, I interviewed this 21-year-old kid who like has almost 1 million followers on TikTok who catches alligators and shit. It's wild.
And now he's talking to us.
And just grabs pythons. Yeah, it's dude, for real. Like if you go to his TikTok recently, there's this 20-foot python, which apparently they're invasive in the Everglades. He gets bit like in the video, and then one-handed, while he's holding like his phone with one hand, the other one just grabs the snake behind the head.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know anything about pythons. I mean, I guess they're not poisonous. I
think they squeeze you. I think.
No, they're not poisonous.
It's okay. So it's just the strangulation.
Nuts.
That's really insane. And so your Empire podcast is based on people who have passions, unique passions, almost seems like explicitly, but it's more about people chasing them. Why did you even want to start? Like, what was the genesis of the podcast for you?
Well, so I walked away from working a job with Verizon years ago to open up a skateboard shop because I grew up skateboarding, and like living the dream is the best shit ever. So that's basically the point, is talking with other people that figured out, hey, I could do something that I really, really enjoy and make that the central part of my life rather than working for some asshole.
Very well said. My roommate used to work for Verizon, pretty much sucked in any remaining soul he had out left. It was
My old roommate worked for Verizon and also had his soul sucked out by Verizon.
one of the worst jobs I've ever heard of people complaining about. So totally understand. Second question is, how many guests have you interviewed? And maybe, I mean, you just talked about the snake guy. Maybe you tell us maybe one or two of your favorite, maybe or something maybe that was really interesting or funny you learned. But first, how many people have you interviewed?
42.
Wow.
Yeah, I just started recording season 5 right now. Each season's 4 or 10 episodes.
That's impressive. And like I said, how many? What would any of them really stick out to you? Anything that maybe like even you were like, wow, this kind of blew me away, or this kind of gave me a second nudge. Anything like that?
Man, there's a lot of episodes I liked a lot. One of them, I interviewed my friend Alexandra May. She's a boudoir photographer, just takes nudes for a living. But like, which you'd think would be kind of wild, but actually it was just like all about self-care, self-love, that type of thing. And it was like a super good episode. I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said about a picture that's done in class, and I think there's definitely a space for it. I don't have any qualms with that at all.
I just have qualms with my body being taken. Like I'd have to get it ready for that.
ESPN
type of photo.
does their shoot every year, and they're kind of getting into that love your body regardless.
Yeah, but I had Andrew Cannon on the show. He used to be a pro skateboarder, and now he's the brand manager for Santa Cruz, that big company. He's in charge of like all that, and then he does commentary for X Games and for whatever.
He was a skateboarder?
He used to be a professional skateboarder, and now he like mentors, all the younger riders that ride for the team, but he also does brand management in general, like for the whole company. So watching somebody go from being, in the professional athlete world and then transitioning into still being involved with all that stuff on a different kind of way, I thought that episode was super cool.
Everybody I know that's ever skateboarded, maybe you could say this, tells me that their ankles are completely shot for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah, my ankles suck.
Quick question. How long would it take me to learn to do a kickflip?
That's true. I wanted to, yeah.
Dude. I don't think you ever could.
All right. Fair. You don't know much about me, but that's fair.
I got a rim shot.
A lot of people take like a year, maybe.
Oh,
It takes a while.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I ski, and I've, kind of skied on water and skied on snow, but I've never had the 2 feet approach other than snowboarding, and everybody that I've ever spoke to said that it is unbelievably difficult to pick up snowboarding and skateboarding for your first time. I remember as a kid trying to ollie many, many times, never even got it, so I think it's kind of a cool profession. Lane, what you got?
I could do a 180 when I rode a skateboard way back when.
That does not count.
Whatever, man. It was the 90s. I had some skate shoes.
What about the craziest story you've heard so far? So you had the boudoir. You had, the snake guy kind of fits into that. Anything else that you would really like to talk about?
Whoa. So this episode hasn't come out yet, but yesterday when I interviewed this dude, his name's Wayne Hoffman. If you look him up, he's like world renowned. He's been on every show. It's nuts. So apparently he wanted to look into where like magic came from, and he flew to Africa to meet with some shamans. So he went out to this like tiny little village and like met with like the chieftain, the shaman, and he's like shaking around bones and like rolling them, like doing the full on thing. And when he was all done with it, he asked the guy, he's like, "Hey, can I show you my magic?" And the guy's like, "Yeah." So he got the whole like village together, and Wayne puts a rock in this little kid's hand. Like I said, this little kid in Africa puts a rock in his hand, closes his fist, does the whole like magic, whatever, and turns it into a coin of their currency. And then the whole village freaked out because they thought that he could actually make money. And the shaman, like the leader, was trying to like not really let him leave, and it was saying, "You need to teach me this skill."
That's fascinating. Can you turn the sound up just a pinch over there, maybe on the desktop audio? That I'm gonna have to check that out. I was gonna ask, did he mention like how he even got in with the group? I mean, I can't imagine I show up and knock on a door and they're gonna let me in.
Well, I think he was like pretty well known at that point.
Okay.
But yeah, unfortunately, that episode's not out yet. That'll be on season 5, so you can't check it out just yet. But you're gonna want to, because that episode ruled for sure.
All right, what about for you? How are you getting guests? How are you finding them personally and saying, "Man, this person's story really blows me away, and I want to talk to them"? Or are they seeking you out? A little bit of both.
Yeah, I mean, it's both. You interview one person, and then they're like, "Hey, I got this other person for you to interview." It kind of works that way. But at the same time, it's a lot of like just being on social media. You know what I mean? And then somebody you interact with or whatever, you're like, "Oh, I wonder if that person would be down." So I had this rapper, Casanova, that I'm friends with, and I've been a fan of, but I just DM'd him out of the blue one day. I'm like, "Oh, I wonder if he would do it." He's not like incredibly famous. And then I was on a road trip. It was like 5 days later or something. I'm in Seattle, and my phone goes off while I'm like drinking coffee, and he hits me back, and a couple messages back and forth, and all of a sudden I have his cell phone number. And I've never met this dude. I don't know anybody that knows him.
Yeah.
And then I ended up having him on the show. So, I mean, it comes from both. Obviously, if you have a guest who knows a lot of people, then
that helps.
Sometimes, that
Are
helps.
you having them into a studio in your house, or are there people calling in?
No, I don't do anything virtual. I travel and in person, everybody. I float, like I went all the way out to California and did a bunch of episodes out there, like that Andrew Cannon one. I went to Santa Cruz and had like a whole tour of the whole warehouse and all that stuff, and then did the interview.
Wow.
Yeah, we this is our first virtual interview. We much prefer the in-person. The COVID stuff is, making it a little less, easy to do that. But
I was going to ask, anything you see your show going towards? Like, I mean, you're interviewing a lot of cool people. Do you worry that, I mean, do you want to change the show in any way? Do you want to build the show in any way? Do you want to turn it into something different? Anything that you have vision for yourself? I mean, you have this passion podcast. Anything that you're passionate about, you want to keep pushing yourself?
No, I mean, honestly, it's just like doing the exact same thing. It's just like more and more unique guests are out there. The premise of the show, right, is talking with people that are pursuing their passions, usually as a career. But that's like such a wide open thing. Like I could be anybody. I could be talking to LeBron James. He did it, something he was passionate about, you know what I mean? So it's like the ceiling is kind of limitless,
right?
Just whoever you can find. So that's the goal, is keep, finding more and more interesting people, hopefully just for the sake of like listenership, finding people that have larger followings and a little bit more notoriety over time. But it's the same general conversation. Ideally, I just want to keep traveling and talking to cool people, really.
That's awesome. I was gonna come back to something real quick. You had mentioned that part of what makes this show work for you is the social media. We talk a little bit about on our show. We kind of mentioned sometimes the negative side of social media and sometimes kind of the effects it's having on the younger generations, people's imagery. Is there a line for you where you want to use your social media for good but not get too caught up in it? Are you aware of it? Does it not bother you at all?
Yeah, no, I'm aware of it. I'm a parent. I got 2 kids, so I'm like hyper aware of anything that affects kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's at the same time, it's like censorship, right? Like you got to figure out, if you're in a place where you're kind of a role model to a certain degree, you got to kind of figure out what space you're in then, like what's acceptable and what isn't. So I don't ever see me putting anything that I wouldn't be okay with a teenager seeing, at least.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And same way with my show. Like the intention of my show is hopefully to have people who are like high school, college, early 20s. I mean, you could be 50 and hate what you do. But in general, people who aren't super satisfied by what they're doing, to inspire them to figure out how can they do something that they're passionate about and have that be like their core thing. So I'm hoping parents and stuff want their high school kids listening to the show. So I don't even have swear words on my show. I have all that edited out. I try to keep the subject matter like pretty,
Yeah, we try not to drop F-bombs here, but most of our audience is above 25. So we drop, and you've already listened to some of it. We curse a little bit. I'm gonna be honest with you, Chris. I've never met you. I've never spoke to you. I'm being completely candid. Your vibe is really strong with that already. I mean, you're sitting there talking to 2 guys who, I was laid off, but before I was working a normal job, we were doing this podcast. Lamb still continues to teach and do this on the side. We do this 3 days a week, and we're pushing to do it more. So to hear you say there's 50 years old, and there's all these people in different age groups, and they're still following, and they're still trying to find that. It resonates me with in a real way, because I worked a ton of sales jobs, and I hated every single one of them. And people were like, "Yeah, but you'd be great at it. You're a good talker." I'm like, "Yeah, that doesn't mean I like it, though, right?" And so to hear you say that, to me, is very inspiring. I would ask you, are there any through lines? Like, do you notice when you're talking to people, a couple good piece of advices continue to surface?
Oh yeah, I mean, everyone wants to say be yourself, but that's really it. It's the whole idea of like, nobody can be a better version of you than yourself, right? So whatever it is that you really, really love, you might as well do that, because that's what you're gonna be best at anyways.
Yeah.
So like, just follow whatever it is that you want to do. It's your life. It's nobody else's life. You don't want to look back on it and be like bummed out that you went and did this job because that's what your family wanted you to do. That's what your friends wanted you to do because you're good at it, paid you or whatever. But then you look back on it and you say, well, I didn't even want to do that anyways.
Right.
What does it matter?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I definitely hear you. I worry though that people that have jobs already struggle to fit in their passions. Is that something that you deal with?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of it. So it's not necessarily that you have to all of a sudden like quit your job and like pursue your passions. It's more just like, think about the people that played music or played, skateboarding or whatever, like whatever their passion was when they were younger, and then they get a job, and it's like, in order to do this thing that they're passionate about, it costs time and they don't make any money from it. So they just stop doing it. And then that's when you get into that whole like 9 to 5 bullshit, like day to day that you hate because you're not doing anything you want to be doing. It's just to inspire people to be like, look, this is important. It doesn't have to make you money, but it is extremely important to put that more in your life. You're going to thank yourself if you do.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. We actually talk about the show too a little bit about how coming up, I was kind of told, you got to be a doctor or a lawyer, you got to go to college, and then blah, blah, blah. That was kind of the steps. And we talk about how there are actually a lot more branches in that tree, with blue collar work and with, construction and all these different jobs, that you really could find a way to enjoy your job that doesn't have to be kind of in that niche. What would you consider to be your passion right now? Or do you have a lot of them? Do you follow just one at a time? Do you have a variety of things you're doing?
I mean, honestly, like what I've found with the show, anyways, is I like helping people find ways to be more fulfilled with their lives. That's kind of the whole point of the show, like I said. And I've been doing that for a while as just kind of like a mentor type position with my shop. You know what I mean? Kids hang out there all the time. It's just like a hangout spot. So I've kind of already been that like older brother role where I'm trying to like groom these kids to do, you know, things that they enjoy and hopefully be successful at it, give them good advice. Obviously I do that with my kids, but through the show, it's kind of like doing that with other adults and stuff too, with the career. It's about sharing these stories to hopefully help other people live more fulfilled lives. And it's like, that's what I'm really attaching to. As far as like personally, like I do a lot of paintings. I do a lot of artwork and I still skateboard a lot. I'm a scuba diver. I do a lot of different things on the side, but like I'm very, very passionate about the project. Otherwise I wouldn't be doing it.
That's awesome.
Love it.
No, I do. I love it. I love it. I mean, this is kind of a question I've already asked, but you said, you know, like I said, you spoke with a lot of people, and you said kind of be yourself. Is this fair to say, like another piece of advice, like a good piece of advice you would offer somebody? Because me and Lamb, like I said, me and Lamb continue to do this show, you know, and sometimes we have 15 or 20 viewers, and sometimes we have 5, and we just kind of trudge through. Is this something, you have any advice for something like that, for somebody that's really, you know, kind of at the bottom there and worried that their passion isn't going to make them money?
Well, it doesn't have to make you money. That's the point, right? The point is you're doing it because you really like it. And if you're doing something you really like and you continue to do it for an extended period of time, you'll get better at it. You'll get better at it. You'll get better at it. Eventually money will just follow. That's just how it works with almost anything, right? As long if your skill gets built up, now all of a sudden it's worth something. It's not worth something when you first start. I've spent more money on the show than I've made off the show, but I have made money off the show and I've been able to have a lot of like cool networking opportunities. I've traveled a lot because of it. So I'm doing it. Even if I would never make money, I would still love doing it. And hopefully it's the same way with you guys. If it gets to the point where you're like, look, I want to do more, but I'm just really tired and I don't want to, then don't do it, because that's not why you're doing it in the first place. That's how I feel about it.
No, that's a really good piece of advice. And I'll be honest with you, me and Lamb, it's not that we don't enjoy doing it. It just, this show, even to put together, I mean, you only watch 30 minutes, but normally the show runs about an hour 20. We have to compile, we do 2 days in between shows, we have to compile a lot of information, kind of have some kind of jokes ready, quizzes, games, some way to interact, sound effects, graphics, all these things ready for every single show. We love this part of the show. I mean, really, I can't even express that's enough. We feel electric when we do it. We feel alive. But it is sometimes feels burdensome to get all that stuff together. That's maybe why I asked. Lamb, anything you wanted to ask?
Well, first wanted to...
I mean, I do the same thing, though, too.
Yeah.
You know? With my show, I outsource the editing at this point, so thankfully I don't have to do that. But yeah, I mean, it's the show for mine. If I could just show up and just sit down for an hour and a half or whatever, and that was it, like that would be a whole lot easier. I would be putting out a lot more content. But that's part of the reason that I do them in seasons the way I do them, because I'm not on the hook then to put out 3 episodes a week, because I can't do it. It's way too much work. You know what I mean? It's just like not possible.
Yeah, no, I listened to the last podcast you did with, was it Savannah Smith? Or the last one that went out, at least, and the most recent one in the season.
Yeah.
And that was super interesting. One thing you were talking about is like you had to have the confidence to get out of your own way. And I heard that line in there, and I thought that was great. Like, he talked about, like, playing music in front of somebody. The first time you do it, same thing with this. First time you do it, you're super nervous and everything. And then the second time, you're like, wow, that was so much easier. And it wasn't any easier. It's just you're more comfortable doing it, and therefore it's, like, a little better. But where is your skate shop, so people know?
It's in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. It's about 90 miles east of Minneapolis area.
Okay.
Yeah, what was the quote again?
So you have to have the confidence to get out of your own way.
I found that incredibly resonating. You know, and I was going to ask, because this is something that I feel with Lamb. We kind of talk about this off air, which is, we started as just a podcast you could listen to, and then I really liked this platform because it was visual and because there was a live interaction with an audience. They could ask questions. Somebody just said you're awesome. So things like that really kind of make it fun, and we can kind of interact with people, which is great. What would you say as an interviewer, as a podcaster, you've gotten better at? Like, what has it brought you? I mean, you obviously have evolved.
And what do you still struggle with?
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, it depends on each guest, you know? Like, if all of a sudden you go in and you're interviewing somebody that you know is, like, way more well-known than you, it's hard to stay really, like, comfortable. Your brain starts, like, running all the time. So in general, I found a structure, right? Like I write down the list of questions that I'm planning on going with, and I'm hopefully going in relatively comfortable and then able to connect with the guest on more of an emotional level. The problem was early on, and for a long time, I was so stuck on what I wrote because I was thinking about what I was going to say instead of interpreting what they were saying and then reacting. Does that make sense?
That's a really
So
sure.
as time went by, I realized like the questions and stuff that I had, those are just like the fallback. Like that's what I'm going to go off of. However, I'm going to just enjoy the conversation and try not to think about what I need to ask. And that tended to work a lot better over time. As far as like making it a smoother conversation, you know what I mean? It's a little more genuine that way, I think.
That's a good piece of advice. I mean, something me and Lamb talk about, kind of the dead air, where I think when we first started, the fear was anytime somebody wasn't talking, viewers were just going to run, you know? And so I think that was something that we had to get comfortable in our own space doing that. Anything else from the show that you want to bring up?
I thought Savannah Smith was super interesting. You guys talked about how hard it is to get Instagram handles and stuff like that with kind of like normal, boring names.
As soon as Lamb brought up your name, Chris Johnson, I said, he's a famous football player. I would imagine every time he searched it was that, but I didn't know if that was an issue you ran into or what.
Dude, all the time. I've been in so many movies. I don't know if you know that. If you look at the credits.
Chris Johnson's
Dude,
everywhere.
Ever see that movie? Did you ever see the movie District 9?
Yeah, great movie.
So, yeah, dude, the main alien protagonist, that grasshopper, his name was Chris Johnson.
Oh.
Nicolas Cage played a Chris Johnson that saw the future. I'm like everywhere.
Have you ever used it to your advantage?
I was just about to ask that. I was just about to say, have you ever scammed your way in? Like, this is
Chris Johnson.
Don't ask too many questions. It's Chris Johnson. I'm going to be there.
No, but now I need to. You guys taught me something. For sure.
Yeah, Chris Johnson, I don't know if he still does, but he owned the time for the fastest 40-yard dash in the NFL for a long time. So as soon as that name came up, I was like, man, this guy must get that all the time.
Yeah, CJ2K, man.
CJ2K, that's right.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we were... wasn't too many calls for the Two Dumb Idiots on any of the social media platforms. It was weird.
Yeah, we wanted something. We wanted something a little unique. All right, well, look, man, we've got some good questions for you, but we've had some good answers from you. Anything else? Any other episodes or anything that you want to stand out? Anything about your show you'd like to call out? Anything like that you'd want to bring up?
Not really, man. Just go follow it. I always tell people, like, if you want to support something or anything that you enjoy, you should always try to find a way to support it, whether it's, financially or otherwise. Social media is a huge way to do that. If you just go find us on Instagram, it's at passion_pod, but it's easy to find the podcast. Share the content. If you like it, send me a DM and say you actually did like it. So that way I get a nice smile on my face for the day or whatever. That way it works, but hit me up, whatever.
Okay.
That's about it.
All right, cool. Before we let you go here, this is kind of a tradition on our show. We do like to kind of break things up with the questions and have a little bit of fun. So we kind of got a little bit of a basic quiz here for you.
Yeah. So I heard you're a little bit of a beer enthusiast.
Yeah, I drink a lot of it.
Well, your own words were beer enthusiast, so...
So you wouldn't put yourself into the snob category, but more of enthusiast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I really enjoy it.
You have a passion for it?
Yeah, I like to consume it.
Yeah. So I don't know if you heard this, but Super Bowl's coming up, and Miller Lite is offering free beer to the first 5,000 people that are willing to type in like an 800-character long URL. You get like a code for it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna play a little game we like to play with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Called Fake or Real.
Let me blast a little sound on you here.
Is it real?
Is it fake? All right, let's get into it. So a little game of real or fake. He's going to read you a beer
name.
A beer name. It's going to be a company, and it might be something that Lamb made up himself, or it might be a real one. Let's see if you know it.
Okay.
All right. So
I drink a lot of Miller Lite. That's the one. That's real.
Before we move on, I actually just said this to Lamb the other day. The new Miller Lite, I'm really critical of commercials for some reason. Every time I see a commercial, I'm like, it's junk or it's trash or no, But the new Miller Lite commercial is one of the best commercials I've seen in such a long time. The one that goes at Michelob Ultra. Have you seen that?
Yeah. He's like, it's only one more calorie. Might as well.
I literally was sitting there watching. I was like, that is going to reel in so many people because I guarantee people don't know how low that calorie is. And they're like, oh, I've been drinking Michelob Ultra because it's healthier. I guess I'll just drink Miller Lite now.
Yeah.
So,
all right. So we're going to start off easy, and then they get progressively a little harder. So you got to let us know if you think these are real beers or fake beers. And if you get it right,
you get a little bit of this. If you get it wrong,
That's all I've ever wanted.
If you get it wrong, though, this is what you get. So you don't want that one. right, let's get into it.
All right. So first is Stag.
Yeah, that's real.
Nice.
As a Midwesterner, you're probably familiar with it.
Yeah.
It's a Pabst beer.
Oh, okay. I sounded
Pabst
vaguely familiar,
yeah.
but I actually didn't know that.
It's actually independently brewed. Pabst just actually sells the recipe.
No, no kidding.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. All right. Raging.
I'll go real. I think it's a wine, but
It is a beer, but you are correct.
It's
is
from
real.
Maryland, right?
It's a Maryland beer.
Hey, I did know that one.
Flying Dog Brewery.
Flying W, yeah, they got all sorts of horrible names.
Yeah, Doggy Style is also one of theirs. They're all dog themed. It's kind of.
That's pretty great.
We actually sold it in the at restaurant I worked at, and it sold all the time because of the name.
100%.
It was garbage beer. Nobody
well,
liked
that
it.
happens all the time.
Nobody liked
There was
it.
one in my town that it was called "Fuck COVID."
Wow.
Yeah, people bought the shit out of it.
I'm sure.
Just like actual somebody peeing into a can.
Yeah, there's one down here called Quarantine Machine.
Quarantine machine. Now that I like.
That one's pretty solid.
All right.
That's not on the list. Though.
Okay.
All right, you got Jiminy Crisp Lager.
I'm gonna go fake.
That is fake. I made that shit up.
That is made up. That's really funny. That makes me laugh, though, so I think you did a nice job. I will say this about Lamb. Every time we do this thing, I always am impressed with the shit he's making up. It always makes me laugh. All right, what do you got next?
All right, we got Turner and Hooch.
Ooh.
I'm gonna go fake on that too.
That is fake.
Damn it, he is crushing right now. He sees your bullshit and he's calling you on it.
You're way better at this game than Nick is.
I am
Nick's terrible.
I'm like a straight 0 for 1,000 on this game.
All right, Pabst Red Ribbon.
Fake. I've never seen that.
That is real.
Whoa, you hit the wow. What? That's
Yeah.
real?
Yeah.
That's
Is
crazy.
it
Is it
amber or
same
what
company?
is it?
That same company and everything. It's literally the same logo. It's just red and it just says red instead of blue. It's super weird. You can Google it. I had to
Amber
Google it.
ale? Do you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, I think it is.
That's.
I don't know if they still
sense.
make it, but they don't.
I thought Blue Ribbon was like their
PBR's
trademark.
from Wisconsin too.
I
Actually.
know. That's why I thought you'd be all in on that train. But
I've never seen it.
I know.
There's
I
a-
don't know if they make it anymore, but it was real.
There's a bar around the corner here that I think it's Wednesday night. Every Wednesday night, if you go in, some kind of happy hour from like 9 p.m. to midnight, you can get $1 Pabst Blue Ribbon can, but they always serve it to you in a brown bag.
As they should.
I'm always like, God, could you make the beer feel any more lowbrow? Like I'm
Make me feel like
I'm
a
homeless
badass.
and I'm walking out of here. Yeah,
Just take it out of here.
it makes me laugh.
All right, we got Sir Drunkenstein.
God, there's so many IPAs with crazy names. I'm gonna go fake on that too.
That is fake.
Oh man, I think he's like
I got to get him on one.
I think he's like 5 for 6 right now. He's red hot.
Yeah. How about Optimus Prime?
I'll go real.
That is real.
Oh yeah! This air horn button's gonna not work after this game. This show, I like it.
Damn it. All right, we got Dr. Von Lager.
Fake.
That is fake.
I think you've seen the list. You can see right through the TV.
All right, Hall and Oates.
Baby, come back.
I'll go fake on that one too.
That one's real.
Get
It's
your
an
big ol'
oat stout, oatmeal
Yeah.
stout, Hall and Oates. I just thought that was
That
I
really
like
good.
oatmeal stouts.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of them, but I thought the name would make me at least maybe buy one.
I do like Humble Stouts, and that's a really clever name.
All right, we got Anthony Hopkins.
Sorry.
No, fake.
That is fake.
I don't think you can just take somebody's name like that.
Actually, they
Would it be
did because there was a
trademarked or
real
something?
one, and it was Audrey Hopburn.
Oh,
Oh
well,
God.
That was a real one that inspired my other.
that is. I actually can't believe that hasn't been taken.
Yeah.
That's really.
Actually, it should be Sir Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, there we go. Hey, we just got a subscription.
Hey,
Raymond Thorne, thank
Paul.
you so much. Appreciate that. Give me an air horn. Appreciate that. Thank you so much.
All right. How about Smooth Operator?
These are getting
I
better.
love all these names.
Yeah.
I think they should all be beer.
Yes, I would agree. I totally agree.
I'll say real.
That is real.
I love it.
That is my list. The only other one I didn't say that was on the list as a real one is Red Dog. I don't know if you remember that from way back in the day.
I do know Red Dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the lead. Okay, no story about that beer.
First beer I ever
when me
drank.
and my friends get together, it's a joke that we buy a case of Red Dogs, and then whenever somebody's an asshole, we give them a penalty red beer and drink it on the spot.
It is terrible trash beer. In middle school, I drank it. And it was the first beer I ever drank, and it was.
What's it similar to? Like Natty Light?
Well, it's owned by Miller, and it was their. They brought what was it? It's Ice House and Red Dog were brought out at the same time, and they brought like a fake like brewery name out, and so it was like upscale Miller Lite.
It's so funny because I drank
I
drank a ton of Ice House and Busch Light, when I used to party because they were the cheapest one. But Ice House, you're like
Busch lattes.
Busch Latte. I've never, but I've always every time that somebody like have an Ice House, they'd be like, "Yeah, we got to get it. It's like way more alcohol." I'm like, "Yeah, that's what I need, dude."
I used to drink Labatt Blues.
Ugh.
Those Canadian beers.
What's your favorite?
My favorite beer of all time.
Yeah.
They made a mango wheat version of the Blue Moon, and that one is fantastic.
That does sound good. Are you a Miller High Life guy?
No, as far as like shit beer, I drink Miller Lite. That's my shit beer go-to.
Yeah, go to 30-pack. Your 30-pack beer, I like to call.
Yeah, I like the 30-pack beer. Miller High Life. Yeah, Miller High Life getting some love in the chat because I don't know why. It was my first beer. I was like 13. My uncle was taking me golfing. He was like, "You take this, but don't tell your mom you had some." And I was like,
Oh, beer's gross.
yeah, but I drank the whole thing. I was like one beer in, just hammered,
Man, you are officially the best at fake or real.
Yeah, you kind of just set the record, bro. I think you were like 7 for 8 or 8 for 9. Yeah,
More than that, I think it was like 13 for 15.
That's kind of insane.
It's like the Tom Brady of fake or
I'm
real.
gonna put like his name up on the wall here. Yeah. For some reason, I'm on the show twice a week and I can't get near the record. It's like a high score in like a Frogger game.
Sorry,
just,
buddy.
Like, never
We
get
had a
there.
guest one time. He came in and crushed it.
Love it. All right. Let's give him a plug one more time and we'll let him out of here.
All right. For those that didn't hear, we got Chris Johnson. You might know him from somewhere on the internet. He's an important guy.
A lot of movies. He plays football.
A lot of places. He's been in a lot of things. Yeah. He's done a lot of things. Passion Pod on the Instagram, passion_pod. For those that don't know, anything else, Chris, you want him to know about?
Man, I don't know. Just do cool shit every day that you're happy about. That's it,
Love it.
That's a great piece of advice. For real, guys, if you're listening, go check that Instagram out. Lamb comes into me and says, Nick, you got to check this out. The podcast is actually pretty outstanding. So I believe it. I'm talking to the guy. He's well-spoken. Go check it out. Passion_pod. I guarantee you will find yourself motivated. In a time like this, we're all sitting in the house and we have no motivation. This is a good time to get kicked in the ass. So, Chris, really appreciate you joining us today, man. Really, it was a really fun interview for us.
Dude, this was fun for me. And we were talking about the names. Passion Pod has been taken forever, but I believe my name is changing to just at Passion Pod on Friday night.
Nice.
I'm trying to finesse a deal on that. So
nice.
In case somebody tries to go look at it, my show, the logo is a little skull. Dude, you guys can't see this probably, but I had a jeweler on my show who cast, she cast my logo in gold for me.
It says passion right on the brain there. That's sick.
So anyways, yeah, exactly. But so yeah, if you look me up, it's the little skull with the brain. This is passion. That's the one.
Yeah, I might have borrowed your logo for the Instagram things promoting the show. I might not have asked permission. And you retweeted it, or reposted it, so I think it was okay.
We just started our second segment, the Sports Ball Live, and I told Lamb, I went on Instagram and I was like, I imagine Sports Ball's taken. I click it, type it in, and it's taken. Guy has 0 friends, 0 followers, 0 posts. I was like, what is this? This guy just got it so I can pay his ass off.
Maybe we'll offer him $5, see if he wants to give it up.
Maybe a signed Chris Johnson jersey is what we're gonna sign.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get him a signed Chris Johnson jersey.
That would be great. All right, man. Get back to your kids. Chris, thanks so much for coming on, man, and good luck with the podcast. I will be sure to check it out myself.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. On his way out, he gets an air horn. Chris Johnson. Thank you, man.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, so how do we get out of this?
Well, I think we can just play our music and roll out, and Chris can stay on. We can talk to him after the show.
That sounds good. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys tuning in to 2 Dumb Idiots. We will be back tomorrow. Are we sticking at 3:30 tomorrow? What do you think?
Yeah, we'll try it out.
Yeah, we'll still stay at 3:30 tomorrow Pacific, 6:30 Eastern. Sports Ball. Tomorrow is gonna be a great show. We've got crazy Super Bowl prop bets.
We got the birthday boy.
We got the birthday boy George coming in to give us some high grade tips on what we need to be betting on this weekend. Lamb's going to give us a game of baseball player or porn star because all the names are so unbelievably porn sounding that he just got a whole bracket of them for us. It's going to be a great show, so don't miss it. But other than that, man, I'm Nick.
I'm Kevin.
We are the 2 Dumb Idiots. Thank you guys so much for joining in, and we will be back tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, I've been called dumb once or twice in my life. Hey guys, thanks for following us along. Another good clip here. Make sure to catch us out on Twitch and hit that subscribe button right here.